Hello. I am sharing highlights as we usually do after our Black Men's Wars collective meetings. We usually have them each month here, or really kind of twice a semester at San Diego State. But we do meet and connect with one another, and I just wanted to share some highlights from that meeting. We had a very special guest this last time, and it was really impactful for those who came by and who were connected. So the Black Men's Warriors Collective began at San Diego State with my fraternity brother, Professor Dwayne Shaver, who teaches here in the Africana Studies program, and his partner, wife, Dr. Antoinette Shaver, Antoinisha Shaver, ooh, Dr. Antoinisha Shaver. They both began these two different, and she was focusing on the Black Women's Healing Circles, and this actually started as a Black Men's Healing Circle. We just changed the name slightly just to kind of bring in a different element and idea and hopefully to get more young men involved, and to some degree that has happened. We got our fraternities involved, our Black Employee Resource Group, and so some of the men coming out there, and the Student African American Brotherhood that's been supportive of that. So we met a while ago, but I really had to kind of mull over some of the things that we talked about. But I do want to say, definitely thanks for attending. We had a special guest, Mr. Kevin Powell. He is a journalist, author, and activist. For those of you who are my age, you may remember him from The Real World on MTV, the first season out there in New York. And he's definitely an East Coast person. And although he has family now here on the West Coast and came to visit and wanted to make that connection with us. So we were excited to host him and have him here. And he shared his book, The Education of Kevin Powell, which is his latest book. And we bought several copies for our students and for those students who were in attendance, young men and women who were in attendance for the first half of his discussion. They all received the book, and the young men who came all received the book. And we still have some more if you're interested in coming by the Black Resource Center as a student and getting the book. I'll say that again, if you're interested in coming as a student. So yeah, we usually meet once a month and make really strong connections with one another. So this time we focus in on a warrior who can add to us, and we usually like to remember those who have gone before as ancestors, but who have definitely paved the way. And Ossie Davis, whose date of birth is next month. One day I resonated with him so much. Mine is too. But as he said about Malcolm X, and he was good friends with Malcolm X and Dick Gregory, he was our shining Black prince, right? And that's just a powerful quote that he gave the eulogy for Malcolm X, but that he also was involved with a lot of the iconography and imagery for many of Spike Lee's films as key central characters, him and his wife, Ruby Dee. Just beautiful folks there, as you can see in these pictures, and great family folks. Right, so the Warriors Collective Creed, we are all Black men and equal under the sun. And that's important as we come together. We are stronger together. We're witness to each other's greatness. We encourage solutions, and we advocate for greatness for all. And I get this out of a book, Towards a Psychological Framework of Radical Healing in Community of Colors, and also two books by Dr. Naim Akbar, Natural Psychology and Human Transformation, and Visions for Black Men. These ideas are very powerful when we come together, and it's important that we connect on those levels, particularly to encourage each other and to advocate for greatness. So the questions that we had for the evening: who are people you know that are models of good relationships in our lives? And it was great to see young men talk about those folks and young men who were there. And I think it may speak to that we had an unusual group, or maybe not, but young men who make it to college, they're more likely to see some people who have good models of relationships in their life. Yeah. When did you feel your first attraction, and how have your attractions changed over the years? we didn't even get a chance to get to this question because we spent so much good time talking about models of good relationships, models of good relationships of leaders, models of good relationships of teachers, of friends, as well as romantic interest. So we stayed there the whole evening. Um, the other questions were, how do we know when to end a relationship? And friendship or no discussion ever, particularly if you end a relationship, right? Um, we didn't even get into those questions, but those are interesting ones to contemplate. And I think we'll probably get into them next time. We spent a good amount of time connecting with our guest, Kevin Powell, and really talking about life from a very broad scale. He's lived a very strong and interesting life. So we had this good discussions there. But one of the things that I really left with is that it is important for us to address our anger in our relationships and how we deal with anger in relationships. And it begins with ourselves. If we're clear about who we are, we're better able to connect on those levels. All right. So, again, highlights and healing. I think some of the challenges are it's tough to talk about relationships. But one of the opportunities is that I know young people want to talk about relationships. So, we're looking forward to doing it again next time. All right. So as always, we keep things confidential. So I only give very broad highlights in these videos. But if you come, I want you to know that we're keeping things confidential. In Warrior Time, after we've healed, we got to go out there and live life, right? Um, so we need to focus on living and doing and being. But when we come together, definitely take that time to slow down and take good care of yourself and develop that rhythm for yourself if you're not able to do so in other spaces. So many other things were shared with the group. A good turnout, even better than the last turnout we had. But definitely, as I mentioned again, I'm going to say it again: heal and plan to fight again. Heal and plan to fight again. Work that, and allow that to have you to spiral up towards better things. All right. Thanks for joining, and hope you have a great day. Um, yeah, we didn't even get to talk about when our next meeting is, but we're getting there. But it will likely be in the spring. So we got finals coming up and so many other things, but we're always available to connect and talk and grow together. Man, great times. Bye.